I think in so many ways, working on ourselves, we have become a digital impression of ourselves, right? Everything is so digital, everything is so data. Be it in our personal lives or be in our professional lives, enterprises have become enriched with data, right? So, what I'm going to talk about is what's stopping us from getting to the true potential of our data. And that's the theme I'm going to talk about. My name is Dobi. Vaibhav Dobriyal. I'm the co-founder and chief product officer at LUMIQ. Good that I have a clicker. So before I go to the topic, let me quickly talk about why I believe I have a right to talk about what I'm going to talk about. So 11 years doing just AI, data and analytics with FSI. We were born in cloud. We were born just when this whole data revolution was starting, when cloud was starting up in India. You'll see us doing 3 key themes with most of our customers. Data modernization, trying to move to cloud, get data organized, be it cloud migrations of warehouses, be it reverse ETLs of the world, trying to get hold of governance around our data, and I'll talk more about that in some time. The second theme that you will see us interacting around is customer insights. All businesses exist because of our customers. Eventually, you are all there to serve your customers, right? So many of us are working to meet that dream. So what are those things? Hyper-personalizations, next best action, understanding your customers better, be it customer 360, be it MDM, be it personalization, all those journeys. And then there is, of course, a third driver, which is obvious, the efficiency. We are all after business efficiencies in our life. We were being told about 15 minutes, but at the end of it, the idea is to come back being more efficient at doing what we are doing, right? So that involves typically playing with technologies, be it areas like underwriting, be it claims for insurance, be it how your agents sell, driving those performance communications, recommendations, and so on. So as you would expect, all of it involves the whole data stack. So AI/ML, data science, as we call it, data engineering, DevOps, MLOps, and I mean, it would be logical to assume that we are good at Gen AI also. So we understand the whole play of technology, been doing it for 11 years. And of course, we have offices in India, US, Singapore. But before I go to the core topic, I think we have all been fed and we all understand that data maturity is key to leveraging the data or monetizing the data that we have. I'll not go through what are the different stages, but if you look at it right, the data driven is just based on the fact that if you have good data, then you can take good decisions. If there is no data, you'll not take a decision. Eventually, that's what we want to go from, just being our gut to a logical way where we can use data more effectively. Now, the challenge with that is you need 4 or 5 things. You need the ability to ingest, collect this data, to store this data, to analyze and consume this data. Most organizations are somewhere between data proficient and savvy, thanks to 25 years, close to 20-25 years of investments that have been made in this area. But still there is a gap. There are many in the room, I'm sure, who would have made already investments on the kind of technology that I'm talking about. But what is the gap? The gap is that if we go and ask, and in fact, there's a survey from McKinsey which says that 7 out of 10 leaders still complain that the right data is not available. What is the understanding of getting the right data? I think the key part here is implementing best of breed analytics, right? Gen AI, AI/ML, data exception-driven reporting, reports, dashboards, that's what everybody is after. And all of them require availability of data. So you would have heard cloud, data platforms, data lakes, lakehouse architectures, modern analytical warehouses. But the question that I want to pose to this audience here is it enough? How many people feel it's enough? Will we be able to move past if everything on this page works? Sadly, it's not. Availability is one part of the problem. The reliability of data is must, because you cannot do much with unreliable data. And with the kind of experience, with the kind of background that we came from, it was imperative for us to start looking at solving this problem. So we built something that we called Pryzm. Pryzm is an answer to get you away from the cycle where you are not looking at reliable data, using bad data, and not being able to make right decisions. So it's an data reliability and observability platform. Fancy words. So I thought
CEO of a multinational
maybe this will solve the
company.
problem.
Hello, everyone. Based on these reports, we've made key strategic decisions for the next quarter. Now let's discuss our execution plan.
Sir, before we proceed, I've noticed some discrepancies in the data. The figures appear questionable.
Are these data anomalies prevalent in all our reports?
It appears to be the case, sir.
How can we formulate real-time business strategies based on unreliable data? On top of it, we don't even know how much business loss we have incurred while considering such bad data in our everyday work.
What if one tool could solve this? Introducing Pryzm, a data reliability and observability platform crafted to ensure precision and trust in every data point. With Pryzm, you can drive informed and confident decision-making, eliminate data downtime, accelerate agility of data ops, and maximize business productivity. Wondering how Pryzm enables businesses to confidently make data-driven decisions?
Connect with us at sales@pryzm.com.
So as fancy as it sounds, right? Silver bullet to answer everything. But before we go there, let's spend a minute to see who are the different personas who come into play in this data world and how we solve for them. So there are 4 key personas in this world. First, of course, is the data ops team. The ask from the data ops team is to ensure all of your pipelines work. That when you are sitting for a review, what you see on the dashboard is relevant and you don't discover it, right? For them, it's key to find all the information in one place, single pane of glass. Because right now, instead of fixing issues that are happening, they're all spending time to collect this information. You have great monitoring tools, and I'm not replacing any of them. You have ServiceNow, you have PagerDuty, you have Jira, but still there is a problem. If those were supposed to solve this problem, why is it there? Because it's all fragmented, it's not in one place. The second issue is data platforms have issues which are across. For example, somebody is sending you data, they change the schema. It's supposed to be a price, today it's for some reason text. Maybe somebody upgraded the system. You have issues like execution misses, something was supposed to run. There is a job that runs at 11, it was supposed to get data from a job which ran at 5, they are not related, but there is an issue. How do you know? There are SLA misses, something overran, something short, they are not related. There are data anomalies. Every day you receive 100,000 records, today you've received only 20,000, there's no error. And of course, I'm sure nobody in the room who has used data will say that data quality is sorted. Or as business leaders, we have access to quality data. The problem is too many things that can happen, right? But for a data ops team, this tool can capture everything. And not just for pipelines, not just for tables, even for your reports, dashboards, Kafkas, everything. So the whole ecosystem, even your machine learning models. The second is the engineering teams. The engineering teams struggle just to get hold of information one shot. So there is L0 support, L1 support, L2 support. Oh, it's a crazy world, right? Everybody is scrambling for information. And what's important is they are not able to identify what works and what doesn't work. You have to go down to that path of looking at all the tickets and everything. It's not which incidents are frequently happen, which assets, which tables are having problems. And it's crazy prioritization. And the last part is everything is post-mortem. Everything in this world is post-mortem. After something happens, then reaction starts. What if we were able to tell you beforehand that this is going to happen? That's exactly what Pryzm does, and I'll show you how. So it has the capability to prioritize what is happening, and you don't need to do a lot of plumbing. Because if we were to build something like this, more often than I would like, let's do a 3-year project, 4-year project. No, that's not the case here. For data governance team, we all know data dictionaries, we all know data catalogs. I think we have all been shown those fancy tools, but who will fill them up? After almost 20 years of my career, what you have realized is it's not a problem of tooling. It's a problem of who will describe. So you'll look at order details and it will say, this is the details of the order. Or this is a customer ID, this field has customer ID information. No, that's not right. Nobody is doing that job, right? So what we have done is, you don't need to start from scratch. There is technology today, for example, for creating those assisted data dictionaries. We already have it inside the tool. ML and GenAI for generating business rules, right? For data quality. So not just business technical data quality, but even business data quality. It has the context, it knows what is the data. And again, I'll show you that as well. And declarative rules, right? So you don't need to know SQL to take charge of your data. And for the data consumers, I hate it when I go through a report and realize that the data is not correct. Personally, you can't do anything in that meeting, or people bring up two different versions of the data into a review call. So what it solves for them for is, you don't discover in a meeting that data is bad. You know beforehand. Because the tool tracks lineage and everything, it knows how everything is related to everything else. So even before your report gets run and there is an issue, it finds it out using, there is contextual DQ. I'm not interested in data quality of the whole data on the platform. If I'm a marketing guy and I'm running a campaign, I want to know if it's a WhatsApp campaign, whether the phone number is correct or not. When was it last verified? That's the capability from a DQ perspective. And lastly, it's all self-service mindset. We are trying to make it easier for you to find where the income is that you want to work upon. It's all built on AWS, leverages managed services. And like I mentioned, it's SaaS, and most importantly, it's not taking data out of your ecosystem. So it runs into your account. I'm not asking you to give me everything. I'll take it out and run it. Why? Because I've been working with all enterprises, and that's one of the biggest problems that I see. You want control, and we have it built for you. Here's a demonstration, because all of it sounds, I'm assuming most of it sounds too good to be true. I would have loved to run a live this thing, and we can do it on the booth. We have a booth. So give us a minute, they'll figure out what needs to be done. But essentially what it's doing is, it's doing four things. One, of course, it's directly impacting the decision making. Second, the business productivity itself, right? When you have access to the right data. And it eliminates data downtime. Data downtime that you don't know about is coming. And the data downtime that's already there. So in both the cases, mean time to detect, mean time to resolve the critical metrics. And of course, the data ops team has access to everything under one shot. So who's using it today? World's largest asset management company is already using it. There are customers in banking, there are customers in AMC space who are already using it. So essentially there are three personas like I mentioned, right? One is of course the platform owners itself while they bring up the... But essentially, how many of you have been thinking of investing in data observability? Has anyone already invested in data observability tools or reliability tools? Maybe a quick questions, or anybody who's working on an organized approach for data quality, anybody in the house while we are waiting for this to come up? Maybe sir, if you want to share what's it that you're using. So there are two challenges in a DQ world, right? One, business users have very little participation, right? Data stewards' job, they can't go in and write data quality rules. That's the challenge today. And you have to start from scratch. Somehow we are not able to show you, but exactly what we have done is, since we know the data, since we have the whole metadata organized into the platform, and we pull that data and we have samples and everything, we are able to recommend the rules itself. You don't need to know SQL, for example, to write data quality rules. You can write declarative rules. And as a business user, on a single pane, you can see what are the critical data elements, what are the different rules that are there, when they are running. So from a compute perspective, you don't have to, create these rules over and over again, spread out into the ecosystem. How many people is there anybody in the room who have confidence in terms of the data catalogs or data dictionaries that they have? Maybe even 30%, 40% confidence. That's another big problem area which I have seen being there for almost, great, finally. Apologies for that, but looks like. So as you would expect, modern runs into your account. So what you're seeing here is the platform overview. So there are three key elements. One is of course the inventory of everything that you have. That's for asset overview. The second is the data quality view. I'll show you all of those. And the third is actually the incidents for the data ops view, right? So this is an asset overview, what all you are running, not just tables, but everything, databases, pipelines, topics, dashboards. So one single page where you have visibility, and if you see, it also tells you, this is from data ops perspective, what do we want to know? What's problematic? What's been happening over and over again? Where are we wasting our time? So what are the most problematic assets and what are the most problematic incidents? As you see on top, it's also giving you summary using GenAI, right? Then there is a third view, which is from a data quality perspective, contextual using how it organizes data, all the typical things. But if you see on the right, here you can go down to use cases. So the marketing example that I was seeing, or by subject areas, or PII, and it's fully flexible. It's all configuration driven, right? Now, how does it work internally? Because all this would require, as you would expect, a lot of things, right? So this is a detailed view of assets. So tables, stored procedures, schemas, everything is there. It automatically pulls that data. It's all configuration driven. There are multiple connectors that come into play. So databases, message queues like Kafka, even dashboards, reporting, machine learning models. And we'll show you how easy it is. You just have to go and configure the connectors, right? There is a whole load of connectors that are already available out of the box, from most modern ones to traditional ones, right? So your oracles, icebergs, everything. If you want to go deep and look at other things, for example, dashboards, Tableau, Power BI, think about it that you're able to draw your lineage all the way to where the data is flowing. So when the CEO is looking at the report, they know if there is an issue, they know it beforehand. Even machine learning models, SageMaker, for example, messaging, Kafka, Kinesis, you name it, it's there. You don't have to put data into the tool. It's itself crawling and gathering that information. And if you are a business user who's trying to find information, if you're a data steward or a data scientist, I was talking about, one is tier, how important it is, so that when things go south, you know where to start, all configurable. And this approach you can take to generate anything in the catalog. In fact, it looks at the data, it looks at the profile, it looks at the sample, it looks at how it is getting used because it has access to those queries, and it automatically generates those descriptions. So you don't have to start from scratch. PII data, non-PII data, it can give you an idea what's there in the table from here, single pane itself. What are the typical queries that are running on it? It gives you an explanation of those queries. Detailed profiles that you can imagine or have ever seen, all of those are available. And this is the lineage view. Not just tables, pipelines, everything that comes to play down to column level, that how it's populating that data. Right? So you have a full view of this thing. And of course, domains, classifications, everything to support and augment it further. This is the data ops view. You have all the incidents and it has capability to send it to your ITSM tools, your DQ test failures, pipeline anomalies, your SLMs, schema change, everything in single pane of glass. And you don't have to do any looking for more information. What happened upstream? What happened downstream? What is going to have a problem? Everything in one shot view. When it happens, what is the typical recipe that you use to fix it? On the left, okay. So basically you could attach documentation, wiki, whatever you have, right? What are the impacted assets downstream and contextual logs? For example, here it's a very interesting scenario. Job ran for 80 minutes, typically it runs for 13 minutes. There is no error. Still it's able to find out details about how frequently it happens. What happens? What were the past incidents? So everything in one single pane of glass. DQ and rules. I just want to show you one big feature. It's automatically recommending you rules rather than starting from scratch, which used to be the biggest. Nobody wants to write those rules. Let's be this thing, right? And when you are creating a rule, it's fully declarative, right? So all kinds of rules. You could decide whether it's an incident, whether it's a warning. You can run the same thing, by the way, in a batch and in real-time event-driven mode. So you don't have to code twice. And here, if you see, it's a declarative this thing. So you're not writing SQL, but if you have scenarios which cannot be handled, of course, you could write a custom SQL. So from a DQ perspective, authoring is the biggest challenge. It answers all those challenges itself. When you have critical data elements, inventory, test suite, from here itself, you could manage authoring, orchestration, everything. And if there is an incident, it goes back to your anomaly. On your data ops plane. If you look at it, what are the different critical data elements, which one of them are protected, which one of them are not protected. So like I mentioned, there are hundreds of things that happen on the back end to make this work. But you don't have to spend time and energy or months to get all this up and running. The key message is, we can't wait for data to get collected and then govern it. Unfortunately, governance is not a day zero priority for anyone. Even if it is in bits and pieces. So the idea here is that start early, and this is one big change I am seeing. A digital bank in Philippines, day zero conversation, now one of the biggest there. Day zero conversation, they wanted to have it. On the other extreme, the world's largest AMC, they realized that they had 100,000 incidents on a day and they couldn't clear it out despite having an army of people. Again, solves that problem. There are new AMCs which are launched in India, which are using it from day zero. So do you really want to collect that data and then figure out that it's not usable? That's the message. I'll be happy to run you an interactive demo. We have a booth here. But that's all I had. Thank you so much for your time.